Story 1. Sinister Soirée New Year's Eve Horror at the Grand Hotel. The Grand Hotel stood tall and imposing, its grandeur a stark contrast to the darkness that loomed over its New Year's Eve celebration. As I entered the lavish ballroom, the air was thick with anticipation and a sense of unease that I couldn't quite shake off. The guests, dressed in their finest attire, mingled nervously, their smiles strained and eyes darting around as if searching for an escape route. I had been invited to cover the event, a prestigious gathering that promised an unforgettable night of revelry and luxury. But as the hours passed and the clock ticked closer to midnight, a sense of dread settled over me like a suffocating blanket. Whispers of a feud between rival factions vying for control of the hotel's lucrative business had been circulating for weeks. The tension in the air was palpable, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister was about to unfold. As the countdown to midnight began, the ballroom erupted in cheers and applause. But amidst the cacophony of noise, a sudden hush fell over the crowd as the lights flickered and died, plunging us into darkness. Panic gripped the guests as screams pierced the air. In the dim light of flickering candles, I caught a glimpse of shadowy figures moving with purpose, their faces obscured by masks of deceit and malice. Chaos reigned as the guests scrambled to find their way to safety, but the doors were locked, trapping us inside with whoever, or whatever, lurked in the shadows. I stumbled through the darkness, my heart pounding in my chest as I tried to make sense of the nightmare unfolding around me. The sound of footsteps echoed ominously, drawing closer with each passing moment. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, the darkness lifted, and the lights flickered back to life. The ballroom was empty, the guests vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a chilling sense of foreboding. As I stood alone in the deserted ballroom, a cold shiver ran down my spine. The events of that fateful New Year's Eve would haunt me forever, a reminder of the sinister forces that lurked beneath the surface of the Grand Hotel. Anonymous Spectator Story. Story 2. Warning of Danger Abandoned Asylum's New Year Nightmare. As the clock struck midnight on New Year's Eve, a group of thrill-seekers, including myself, decided to explore the abandoned asylum on the outskirts of town. The dilapidated building loomed before us, shrouded in darkness and mystery. Despite the warnings of danger and the rumors of tragic events that had occurred within its walls, our curiosity got the best of us. As we entered the asylum, a chill ran down my spine, and a sense of foreboding washed over me. The air was thick with the stench of decay, and the sound of our footsteps echoed ominously through the empty corridors. Graffiti covered the walls, telling a story of madness and despair. We made our way deeper into the asylum, our flashlights cutting through the darkness like knives. Shadows danced on the walls, and strange noises echoed from unseen corners. I could feel eyes watching us, malevolent and hungry. Suddenly, we heard a blood-curdling scream pierce the silence, sending shivers down our spines. Panic set in as we realized we were not alone in the asylum. Someone, or something, was hunting us. We ran through the maze-like corridors, our hearts pounding in our chests. The air grew colder, and the walls seemed to close in around us. Whispers filled the air, taunting and mocking us. As we reached a dead end, we found ourselves trapped, with no way out. The screams grew louder, and the shadows seemed to come alive, reaching out for us with cold, clammy hands. I could feel the presence of something sinister, something that should never have been disturbed. In a desperate bid for survival, we searched for an escape route, but the asylum seemed to have a mind of its own, leading us in circles and dead ends. The screams grew closer, and the shadows enveloped us, suffocating and consuming. Just when all hope seemed lost, we stumbled upon a hidden passage, a way out of the asylum. We ran as if our lives depended on it, the echoes of our pursuers' footsteps following close behind. As we emerged from the asylum, gasping for breath and covered in sweat, we realized the true horror of what we had experienced. The asylum was not just a building. It was a prison for lost souls, a place of unspeakable suffering and torment. To this day, I cannot forget the terror of that New Year's Eve night, the warning of danger that went unheeded, and the nightmares that haunt my every waking moment. The abandoned asylum holds secrets best left undisturbed, a New Year nightmare that will forever be etched in my memory. Anonymous Spectator Story. Story 3. Chilling Haunted Hotel's New Year's Eve Tragedy. As I stepped into the grand lobby of the historic hotel, a shiver ran down my spine. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding, and the dim lighting cast eerie shadows on the ornate walls. I had heard whispers of the hotel's dark past, of guests who had never checked out, their spirits forever trapped within its walls. I was here to attend the hotel's infamous New Year's Eve celebration, a lavish event that promised a night of decadence and mystery. The ballroom was adorned with glittering decorations, the champagne flowed freely, and laughter filled the air. But beneath the facade of merriment, I could sense something sinister lurking. As the clock struck midnight, signaling the arrival of the new year, a chill swept through the room. The music faltered, the lights flickered, and a hush fell over the crowd. And then, a blood-curdling scream pierced the silence. Panic erupted as guests realized that one of their own, a young woman named Emily, was missing. Frantic searches of the hotel turned up nothing, and as the hours passed, hope began to fade. It was as if she had simply vanished into thin air. But I knew better. I could feel her presence, a cold breath on the back of my neck, a whisper in the darkness. And then I saw her, standing at the end of a long hallway, her eyes empty and hollow. I followed her, my heart pounding in my chest, until she led me to a forgotten corner of the hotel. There, hidden from prying eyes, I discovered the truth behind the tragedy that had befallen Emily. She had stumbled upon a dark secret, a malevolent force that dwelled within the hotel's walls. And in her desperation to escape, she had unwittingly unleashed it upon herself. As the first light of dawn crept through the windows, I knew what I had to do. With a heavy heart, I confronted the entity that had claimed Emily's soul, facing it with courage and determination. And as the sun rose on a new year, the hotel fell silent once more, the echoes of the past finally put to rest. Anonymous Spectator Story.